Hi everyone, I hope you're well. So I hope you guys have already installed Scratch on your computers. We are going to learn the basics of programming before we start making big projects. But this is, even when I was in school, it was just, I think, 2 years after we learned programming in school, they invented this programming language called Scratch. And yeah, it's just a really nice, it can get very in depth. I'm sure if you go Google Scratch projects on the internet, that you'll see there's a lot of different games that they make, but you can also make interactive stories, and you can make, you can make little games. And I am believer of yeah, if you play, you learn. Yeah, it's really nice because you can edit this sprite, which is just our little character over here. And yeah, you can see that it has I think this would be a jump animation. And you can move it around, you can make your own vectors or sprites. And we're just gonna code using click and drop um, features over here. So there's a lot of things in here, and we are just going to start this programming journey with the basics. So this textbook that I gave you guys, this you can use, it's for you, you can use it, and you can just work through it. We first need to focus on the basics, and you'll see before we start we should know a few things. If you have never used angles before, you will learn about it. I will try and show you guys how it's going to work, but the best thing that I can suggest is just playing with it. So here's an angle of 90 degrees. Usually if you have angles, I'm sure you've heard of someone maybe turning their way. So let's say a prisoner went to prison and he came out, and then someone would say that he made a full 180. And what that means is if we have 0 degrees over here and we have 90 degrees over here, then 0 to 90 plus another 90 is 180, and 180 plus another 90 is 270, and 270 plus another 90 is 360. So from here to here we measure that angle as 90 degrees, and then if we were to start here and measure that angle, that would be 180. And if we would start here and we go all around, this would be 270. And if we start from there, go all the way around, it's going to be 360. So it's just a quick recap on angles if you've never used angles before. We measure angles, measuring angles instrument. Might have spelled that wrong. We use a protractor. Now it's like your normal ruler, but we use it to measure angles, and usually it's just between 0 and 180, or you can start from the left and say 0 to 180. So that's what we use to measure an angle. And you'll see that a circle, let's just go to paint, a circle, it's not the best drawing, but let's imagine that's a circle. But a circle is actually a full 360 degrees. So every circle has 360 degrees. So that's just all they had. You have to just know what all these types of things are, and just know that things can move in lots of different directions: up, down, left, and right. And you guys had to do this skill 1. We just practice writing down how do you get up from your current sitting position to the door. So paint. So if you're sitting over here, there's your screen, and there's your chair. Beautiful. Okay, so that's you. And all you had to do is just write a few instructions. Like, okay, first step, I first need to stand up. Okay, so let's stand up. Then we stand up. After we stood up, now we need to turn ourselves. So let's say the door was there, the background over there. So there's the door. And I had to walk up to get to the door. And I have to put in some instructions over there. So first step, stand up. Next one is turning myself around. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so now I just need to turn around. So I'm just going to say turn around to face the door. Okay, there's the door. And now all we have to do is count the amount of steps it takes us to walk to the door. If there was an obstacle in your way, let's say there's another desk over there, or your bed is there or something, then you can't straight up walk to that. So you need to walk to the bed. So let's say you take 3 steps. Now you're right in front of that table or that chair. Now you need to turn again. So now I need to say the next step is to turn around again. Or maybe let's make that, yeah, so first walk, then you turn around. And okay, so let's turn around. So now I need to go to the right of that. So I'm just going to put my table here. And after that, you need to take a few steps just so that you're past the bed. So the bed or the table is there. And since we're looking that way, we need to turn around again. So first the steps, and then you turn around. So I'm just going to make that like a turnaround arrow, like it should look like that. But I hope it's clear what I'm trying to show. So then we turn around, and I'm just going to take this. So you turn around, and you turn in facing the door, but you just say by how much do you actually turn. And then after that, then we just say how many steps towards the door. And there we reach the door. So if we were to count the steps, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we need to say what were the steps. Okay, first step, stand up. So you kind of have to control yourself like you would be a robot. Okay, first step was just standing up. Okay, so I see there would only be 7 steps because this one was just you sitting. So I just messed that up. I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to take all of this. Just move it there. Okay, there we have. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 must stay there. And then we just put in the 7th step there. Okay, so second step, stand up, and then next is turn facing the door. Okay, and then step 3 was walk. Let's say I took 5 steps. You can literally count how many steps it takes you. 5 steps. Walk 5 steps. Then turn to the left or right, whatever, which one you have there. And then, so that would be, let's say, a 90-degree turn, 90 degrees, or 180 degrees turn. You can say how much. You just kind of measure by how much did you just change your direction. And to determine that, so let's say I'm standing here, this is my face, these are my eyes, I'm looking that way. And now I need to change my direction so that I change to the left. So our brains does all of this for us. But how big is that angle there? So if you start here, if this is the 0 angle, by how many degrees did you turn? Okay, you turned 90 degrees. So that was a 90-degree turn. So we can say 90 degrees to the right or to the left, depending on which side the end of the table bed is. If you don't have that, then you can just walk straight. Like, you won't even have to have these in between steps. You can just say stand up, walk 10, oh, stand up, turn. And so this turn you'll also put in by how many degrees you turned. So this would also be if this was the table and I had to turn my head again, so it'd be 90. Or if my what do you call it, the door is at the back of me, then I had to make a 180 degree turn, because it would be 90 this way and then 90 this way. So if the door was over there, but in this case we don't have that, so I'm just going to say there you go. So just 190 degrees turn to the 90 degrees. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Just gonna put that there. Turn to the left 90 degrees. Okay, so we turn to the left 90 degrees at the bed. Yes, over there. Sorry, this is step 4. Then walk 2 steps, and then after I walk 2 steps I need to turn again. So I just passed it, now I need to turn again. So this time the bed is on this side of me and I need to turn that way. So I'm gonna say turn 90 degrees to the right, because this time we have the bed is over here. I just walked that way 2 steps, so now I need to turn 90 degrees to the right this time. So I'm going to say 90 degrees that side, and now we need to walk towards our door. So the door is over there, so turn 90 degrees to the right. Okay, so I just made the rotation, and now I just say let's take the last 4 steps. Oh, walk 4 steps, and that would be all of my instructions so that I can walk to my door. So that is what you had to do in the activity. This is just a quick example of how you would do something like that, and we don't actually have to overthink it this much, but for now with programming you have to say to the computer what each and every step is. So write down the instructions to get to the door, turn around to face the front room. They didn't specify that you had to put in the degrees. I just want you to see that how we would use the degrees. So 90, 180, 270 and 360. So just a quick recap on how you would do that. For 1.2, I know many of you are not at school, so you don't have someone to do this for you. So, but you can use your parents if you want them to use your instructions to get to the door and see if they actually could find it. And yeah, that was all you had to do for the activity 1.1. I'll make the next video on how we're going to do skill 2, but we're just slowly but surely building the basics of how to do programming. Enjoy the rest of your day.